Hi everyone. What I want to talk about in this video is improving your quality of sleep. I had a pain appointment last week and this is what I made the topic about in order to help me for what my most immediate need was. And I think the answer that I was given to do with sleep would help others as well. So there are, I think it's 6 or 5 items that I want to go over with you, and I hope you'll take what is possible for you and then let the rest go. So the first is using heat to physically relax and get your body ready for bed. So either a hot soak in a tub. When this isn't practical, the use of a heating pad or a microwave oven, a bean bag or whatever it is that you would use, a magic bag or whatever heats up in the microwave would be the alternative option to using the tub. And again, it's just to let yourself relax, that your body's actually ready to sleep instead of getting into bed and basically being wired. The next item the healthcare professional talked about was the benefit of deep breathing exercises. Part of this was about physically relaxing, and part of this is for people who are prone to retaining a high level of carbon dioxide in the blood, and how this kind of tenses the muscles or contracts the muscles to where sleep is inhibited. So, the example I was given, breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, then breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And half a dozen times may help make a difference, or at least help you physically relax to where your heart rate's starting to go down. And again, it's the idea about not getting into bed where you're wired and not likely to sleep. The next suggestion was the use of classical music. And having had this said to me, I do recall it from my teen years. This is what I used when my parents' marriage was going sour and ultimately led to their separation. I listened to a radio station over London, Ontario, one of the college's radio stations, when going to bed, and it did help me fall asleep at night. In our day and age, MP3 players are available. There are things that are pillow speakers available. So I'm talking about a speaker that's just about the size of a mug, like the base of a mug, that would go under the foam in your pillow, and you would hear the sound coming out of it, but it wouldn't be overpowering. So this could be something you'd use when you have a partner or a spouse that you share the bed with, or if you're just wanting some quiet music to fall asleep to. And you would just set this up on your bed or by your bed and help you get to sleep. Now, of course, I understand we have different levels of technology, and a pillow speaker may not be needed as much now as it was a decade ago, but I want you to know that it's an option. The next suggestion was to methodically consider how I sleep at night and determine if it was possible to sleep on my left side. Of course, the next words out of the healthcare professional's mouth were words themed around not letting this trip up my physical disability and doing what's best for myself. And it might not have been a good idea, and the person acknowledges at the onset. What it got me doing, however, was being very intentional to sleep on my back one night and sleep on my side And then when I slept on my side 2 more nights, I quickly realized that was a source of all the pain in my knees. But when I sleep on my back, it's just not there. And, that whole broken sleep, not being able to function the following day, wasn't hindering me. So the thought process behind the left side is that your heart's down. It's putting less stress on it, and your heart rate's lower. You're apt to help be able to sleep. But being physically comfortable is also exceptionally important. So if you find sleeping on your back works and you've settled that's what's best for you, then it's worth having tried and knowing for sure one way or the other. The last few that I want to talk about are what I've learned for myself and have worked well for me. One of these is if something's on my mind, writing it down on a piece of paper and then not having to think about it all night. The paper will still be there in the morning to reevaluate it. And it's honestly amazing how a night's sleep will give a fresh perspective on a problem that you're having. The challenge on this is sort of not being able to have tunnel vision, and once you've wrote down, be able to shift your mind that you're not focused on it. I want to again mention I believe in God and the value of prayer. I understand some other people may have a different religion and find comfort in other activities, but I did want to mention this as a possibility. And the final item I want to talk about is sort of the holistic, what are you doing during the few hours before you go to bed, and is it helping you, is it neutral, or is it hurting you? So there's been lots of research done into how the light coming off computer screens, the blue light specifically, affects our sleep and just helps, and just it prevents us from getting to sleep. And you need to think about what your routine is before bed. If it's the right routine and if you're able to fall asleep, or if it needs to be changed up. And as I've just sort of alluded to in the earlier point, if there are other things going on in your life, I have found the value of waiting a day to see what a night's sleep and being rested does to help you in addressing a problem that is insurmountable when you're really tired. It's amazing how the mind regenerates or renews with rest, and your capacity to evaluate things changes. So I would encourage you not to get too stuck on a problem the night before. There's different times where I've started writing a very difficult email to someone and then waited the following day or 2 or 3 days, then going back to it and ensuring that it's accurate and helpful. And I think the final thing that I want to talk about is the overall feeling of being safe. I'm not going to be able to answer for you what this means. I do think that you need to highly consider your list of wants, needs, and desires, and to make sure that wants are not overshadowing that you have what you need for life, for quality rest, and for taking care of yourself. I really enjoy having Rocky, my pet hamster. I enjoy playing with him a lot and letting him walk all over me. And I find it relaxing. It's one activity I could do before going to bed. Possibly spending time with friends online might be another idea. Relationships do take time to cultivate, but if you can find a common theme or base sort of relationship around what the nucleus is going to be, perhaps a game, an activity, a book club, whatever it is for you, that you could then develop your skills and a routine that's helpful, and that you're hitting your bed at around the same time every night. Okay, this is what I had to share today. It's a little bit of a longer video. I do hope it's helpful to you. Thanks for the time that you spent with me today. Bye for now.